listening to Hungry for More, an Epicurean's Dilemma, and I'm your host, Trish Glose. Libra Forde on the podcast today. She's the executive director of the Women's Foundation of Oregon. She's also a keynote speaker, which is how I got to know Libra. She was the keynote speaker at the Women in Wine Conference back in June. And it is not a dramatic statement to say she changed lives that day. I have legitimate testimonials from some audience members that say, Libra woke me up. I went home and started my own business. Libra said this, and it completely changed my perspective. She made a huge impact that day. On her website, it says, life has been a journey I am proud of. And knowing her story, journey may be the perfect word to describe that so far. From growing up in New York City, the child of two wildly talented parents, it's going to blow your mind. The decision to go to college, it was not her first choice, not even close to her first choice. And she says that first semester was beyond tough, but she turned things around. She made it happen. Moving to Hawaii, the moves that she made there in terms of her children's education, joining Toastmasters and becoming really good at making speeches. So good, in fact, she was winning competitions and going to the international speech competition in Malaysia. Journey. Absolutely. She's real. She's 100% authentic. She's honest. She gets vulnerable in this interview. And y'all, I do these interviews. I find these interesting people because they entertain me mostly, but they've also said something that has really stuck with me, or they've done something that has really impacted me in a special way. And I just want to connect these interesting people to you. I want to share their knowledge with you. I hope you get as many goosebumps as I did from this interview. Here's Libra Forde. Every keynote, do you talk about your story? Is that within every keynote, or does it depend?
There's a piece of my story I'll talk about.
Okay.
Because I use every keynote to reflect on myself. That's part of the journey for me.
Love it.
So I'll find a piece of my story that I'll reflect on as part of my own therapy.
All right. And there we go, listeners. Buckle up and hang on, because this is going to be quite the ride. Libra Forde. Oh my gosh. I am so excited to have you right in front of me. You're the executive director of Women's Foundation of Oregon. You're also a keynote speaker. That's how I met you. You just did the keynote at the Women in Wine Conference back in June.
Which
Okay,
was
first of all,
phenomenal. You
hi,
guys did a great
welcome.
job. Hi. You guys did a great job, by the way. That was my first experience and phenomenal gathering. You guys did a great job. Great group of women. That was amazing.
So I have to tell you this before we even get started. The conference, I heard the feedback was best conference ever, best conference yet.
Wow, you guys, look, you killed it. See?
Well, no, ma'am, you killed it. And this is just a couple of testimonies that I heard. So I always think about, what have I not heard? There was a gal in the audience. She said, she specifically pointed out woke her up that day.
Hmm.
You told your story a little bit. You told your story about abuse, your history with abuse. She herself has a history of abuse. She always felt, and because of that abuse, she always felt like she wasn't smart enough to do the things that she wanted to do, the passions that she wanted to pursue. She said she left that conference, went home that night, got a website, got a permit with the state to start her business,
Yes.
had social media, and within a week she had clients. She said, you with
Yes.
some other speakers changed her life.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
She goes, I didn't realize I was asleep, but Libra woke me up.
I love that. I have one thing that I meditate and say before I walk on the stage, and that may my words change the life of one person in this room.
Okay, check that box, because you did it. You absolutely did that. I think there are
Yeah.
more, again, there are probably more that they didn't reach out to me and tell me this. Is that, yes, you just said you meditate on that, but do you hear that a lot? Hey, your words woke me up. Your words changed something with me.
Yeah, I mean, I do hear that a lot. I didn't start this to hear that.
Yeah.
But once I started hearing it, I was moved by that. I was really, I guess I was understanding my job better. Every time I heard it, it had nothing to do with me. I realized every time I heard it, it had everything to do with, oh, this is your job. Like you're here to do this for others. And so, yeah, I'm really clear that that's what I've been put on this earth to do.
Mm, that gave me goosebumps. Where are you from originally? New York?
New York City,
New York City. Born and raised.
born and raised.
How long did you live there?
Until I went to college.
Oh, okay. Okay. And you talked about your parents a little bit. Your
Yeah.
mom, help me, actress,
Yeah,
model,
my
superstar?
mom was model, runway model, worked for Bob Mackie. She was his fitting model, and she was phenomenal. And then is phenomenal. Sorry, she's still here with us. And then my dad was a Broadway actor,
That's right.
and he did all types of stuff. He was pretty phenomenal too. He was Denzel Washington's first acting coach, and I mean he did phenomenal stuff. Most people, all my friends as a kid, knew him as King of Cartoons from Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse on Saturday mornings. And so my friends made fun of me, but now I know he was dope. Like on the weekends,
Wait, that was your dad?
that was my dad. Yeah.
Wait. What? I just started to sweat. My mind is literally blown. I loved Pee Wee growing up. Pee Wee was my
Yeah.
fave.
When my dad passed away, like we got a flood of messages, like of people who were like, "What Saturday morning?
Yeah.
Your dad was my Saturday morning." Like, it was phenomenal to hear people talk about how influential my dad was. I mean, he was on all types of TV shows, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like he just had an impact on people. He was a career actor in an era where black actors were not a thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
so it wasn't until his death that you look back and realize, oh, that he was there. But when he was there, no one was paying attention. But when he passed and you look back, you're like, oh, he was everywhere,
Right.
right? He really opened doors for many people. So I went to a very profound high school with many people who were doing phenomenal things in great places. And so one of my friends who's a great writer and writes for the Grammys and for the Oscars did a great segment on my dad when he passed. And everyone just had great things to say about him and how he opened so many doors for other black actors. And so it was just really moving to see, sometimes people do things in the dark and you don't realize what you're doing is really big for the future, right? And it's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily big for this moment. So yeah,
Incredible.
yeah.
Well, so glam couple sounds like. What was it like
Yeah.
growing up? And did you have siblings?
No, I'm an only child.
You're the only one. They just doted on you the entire time.
No, they doted on themselves. I mean, they were, they were living their lives. And we're
Yeah.
like, okay, we did the kid thing. Now let's go back to this career thing, right?
What was that like growing up with a Broadway dad and a model mama?
It was like my mom was in Sweden half the time
Wow.
doing her career. My dad was always on the road, right? It was wild. It was a wild childhood. Very creative.
I'm sure.
And I think a lot of my thinking comes from that. And they were both activists. So outside the box thinkers, outside the box movers. And so yeah, I am absolutely their child. Like
Yeah.
1000%.
You told me this story when we first met via Zoom. The name on your birth certificate.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love this story. I love it.
Everyone in the room. So my dad was late. So it pissed my mom off. My name was supposed to be Ida. In New York, September 21st, 1975, there was a blackout. My mom got stuck in the elevator.
Jeez.
Um, so it was just a lot of things that frustrated her. And I was supposed to be named Ida, a woman who raised my father. Her name was Ida, and who actually was dating Dizzy Gillespie, by the way.
What? Oh my
Again, these
gosh.
people were not known back then, right?
Right.
So it wasn't a big deal. But so Ida was supposed to be my first name. My dad was late. My mom was definitely a 420 lover, and she, she, everyone in the room, she just named me after them. And Libra was supposed to be my middle name, and so she decided to name me Libra first.
Okay.
Ida is my first middle name, and then everyone else that was in the room are also on my birth certificate. So
You're on the birth certificate. You're on the birth certificate.
yeah, you all get to join in. And so yeah, when I got married, they were like, what are we doing with all these names?
For real. For real.
I was like, just pick one. It's fine.
Um, what was high school like for you? Was it good? Was it awkward? Was it weird?
My high school was the most phenomenal
Mm.
experience. I went to the Fame High School in New York City.
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
okay. All
um,
right.
it was phenomenal. It was just like the TV show. It was amazing. There were over 6,000 kids, and we had a 10-story facility behind Lincoln Center,
Mm-hmm.
three theaters. Like it was ridiculous. And we were all like creative kids, right? Dancers, singers, instrumentalists. Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Is that
So
what? Yeah, is that what you wanted to do though? Was did you want to go into the arts?
I wanted to be a singer.
Okay.
My parents were performers, so I wanted to be a
Hmm.
performer. I played the cello and I sang. I was a classical singer.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
I had done classical singing since middle school. I was in a traveling choir in middle school, Miss Morris, and I loved it. I sang in five different languages, and I competed in five different languages. I loved it.
Yeah.
Uh, Thought I wanted to do that for life. And then my mom was the first person to say, "You got to get a real job." She
Oh,
was like,
funny.
"We don't make any money, right?" She's like, "I know this is what we're showing you, but we don't make any money, and you got to get a real job." And so she was the first person to start introducing me to academics
Hmm.
and paying attention to academics. And so my middle school experience was really academic focused. I went to a magnet school in New York, which was focused on Latin. Like we learned Latin in middle school.
Crazy.
Crazy. It was like 20 kids in the school. It was weird. But like profoundly like influential in my life.
Yeah.
I did really good on my SAT, right? Because of that, right? Because we learned Latin really
Hmm.
young. And then high school, I did really well academically, so I got into a really good college. But that was her thing, was that you gotta get a job.
It's really funny you say that. Just this morning, I was in church choir for a long time, and then I joined this little like singing and dancing troupe. Singing is, I love it. I'm not very good at it, but I absolutely love it. There's nothing more joyous than singing and dancing, zero inhibitions, right?
Mhm.
But my mom, I wanted to go on Broadway. My mom was like, let's talk about a real job. And so journalism it was because it had that same kind of theatrics to it, right? Especially
And
TV news. But yeah, she was very influential, saying, let's focus on academics for a bit. Let's see
yeah,
what's out there before you just like
jump
move
into the
move to New York and go to Broadway.
right.
Try to go to Broadway.
Yeah. Yeah. I think also my mom and dad both were good at exposing me to other things that were theatrical, right? That they thought would give me the same feel. Um, And so in school, I did a lot of leadership things, right? Like I
Mm,
was president of my class, required, when you're running, it requires theatrics, right? And so,
100%.
right. And so they were good at kind of exposing me to the same things, still allowing me that creativity, but not leading me down one path of it. So I think they were smart. And then I was a basketball player,
Hmm.
right? And so that also exposed me to another type of leadership, another type of creativity, another group of people, right? Because that's another lane from creative people.
Absolutely.
And so that exposed me to some different options too in life and different opportunities. So all that exposure just gave me a little bit more balance, which I think was their plan, was just like, hey, let's not all be broke together. Like,
We're broke. We don't want you broke, please.
yeah, yeah,
No, I love that. So college, where'd you
yeah.
go?
I went to Brandeis University,
Okay.
against every cell in my body.
Why?
It was my mother's choice.
Okay.
I was a big time basketball player and I really loved the sport. I didn't love it initially. They begged me to play because I was 6'5", right? And
Right.
so, so they were like, you got to play. And I was like, I do? And they were like, yeah, you do. And I was like, okay. Because remember, I wanted to sing. So I was like,
I know
I was-
basketball.
right. Why? And then I had a best friend that was 6'4". And so I said, well, if I got to play, you got to play. She was like, I do. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
So we played together, and our team wound up being awesome in the state.
I'm sure.
And then we had this little point guard that was really awesome too. And so we wound up doing really well. And so by my senior year, we were pretty incredible. So I was being recruited across the
Of
country.
course, yeah.
So basketball became pretty prominent in my life, probably more prominent than my mom even cared for. Not probably, definitely. She was very clear. She was not interested because she didn't see a future in that either.
Okay.
Especially because there wasn't a WNBA,
Nope.
right? She's thinking, what are we doing, right?
Hmm.
And she could not afford college. Physically, she was always like, if something happens to you, what are you going to do for college? So Brandeis was the only school that was offering me an academic scholarship.
Oh, wow. Okay. And
And
you were
I
leaning
wanted
into
basketball scholarship.
academics versus basketball?
I was leaning into basketball. She was leaning into
I
academics.
see. Okay.
And
Okay. Yes.
my thinking was I was going to college, so what do you care?
Yep.
And her thinking was, but if something happens to you, you can't stay in college. Which, she was older than me, so she knew more, right?
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, lots of opinions, this one, and I love it. I love it.
Oh, major, not just lots of opinions. It's been said and it is done. That was her way. It's been said and it is done.
Gotcha.
Coaches would come and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, and you can leave now. I don't understand. It makes no sense to me. You can leave now.
All right. You can go. Bye.
Yeah. I
Thanks for
mean,
stopping by.
buy-in from all over the place. And she'd be like, I don't know why you're here. This makes no sense to me. Goodbye.
Oh my gosh, I love her. Oh, uh, what were you going to study?
I actually didn't care,
Nice.
which was the other thing that I'm sure just made her petrified, right? Like, yeah, no.
We need a plan, Libra. What's the
We need a plan.
plan?
Yeah. So Brandis was a very small, but very strong academic school in Boston. She knew it well. I never heard of it. It was a small Jewish college in Waltham, Massachusetts. I never heard of Waltham. I never even like nothing. Never heard of the basketball team. And this basketball coach just was brilliantly listening to my mother. And she said all the right things to my mother. She was the only coach my mother listened to.
Wow.
And so in the end, she was the only one welcome in my house. She was the only person my mother listened to. And in the end, she's like, she's got to apply to get in. And there's one scholarship that a year that they give that's full. Libra has all the academic ability. If she gets it, she's here. And I got it.
They only give out one full
One.
ride and you got it.
And I got it.
Damn.
4 year, full ride, 4 year scholarship.
Wow. That's incredible.
All expenses paid. All she had to do was get me there.
So this is where you end up going.
Yep.
Yeah. Like,
Yep. And the
you're
whole ride,
going.
she's like, you're going. It was $14 to get me there on the bus.
Oh my gosh.
I'll never forget it. Greyhound.
Yeah.
And
Was that an emotional day leaving New York City or was that like a woohoo, here I go?
I was pissed. I didn't want to go.
Oh my god. I love
My
you.
mom cried the whole time because she was like so proud, right? And I was just like, well, I don't even know what this school is. Like, why am I going here? I was so pissed. Like my
Yeah.
first day of practice, I walked on the court with earphones on. Like, I'm the best player in the nation. Like, why am I here? I was so arrogant. And that coach, Coach Carroll, she made me run 6 miles that day.
Oh.
Yep. She was like, well, you're here now and you're gonna run. And yeah, I had a lot of respect for her after that.
Yeah. Was she your coach the whole time?
Oh yeah, she's still there.
Is she really?
Yeah. I still talk to her. Her and I grew a beautiful relationship. She understood, right? But it was tough for me initially. Really tough for me. I mean, I just had a huge ego. and I just didn't think I belonged there. And like I was the first black player that school had ever had. So I was uncomfortable. I had never been thrown into like the Jewish culture like that. Like it was really a Jewish school. Like there was no other religion celebrated at the school at all.
Oh,
So
wow.
Fridays, everything was closed. Like I could not get any food. Like it was culturally a shock for me. So I was very uncomfortable. Um, so yeah, she was all I had. The coach was all I had. So we had to build a relationship, right? So at some point I had to put my ego down and be like, okay, what like you are all I got. Let's figure this out, right? Like you want me here, I don't want to be here, so I might as well be your friend. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like, what are we doing?
Well, I'm
And so yeah, we figured it out. My roommate was became my best friend. She was from Maine, also not Jewish, so her and I figured a lot out together, and played basketball too. And yeah, it was a learning year for me.
what as far as the student body, was it predominantly white?
Not just white, it was predominantly Jewish. It was a Jewish school.
So this friend, you within your coach, did it feel like almost an act of desperation? Like this was the only, like you were on an island, or was this like,
I was on an island.
yeah,
Coach was Jewish. Most of the professors were Jewish. Um, like we could not have Christmas trees.
yeah,
This was a like, and there's a lot of Jewish cultural things in New York City, but it's not the only cultural thing in New York.
right.
It's culturally just very diverse, right? So it was my first experience to being thrown into one culture,
Hmm.
without any access to anything else. And then Waltham is pretty far from Boston. There's a commuter rail really close to Brandeis, but it's pretty far. And so I didn't have a car. And like I said, I didn't want to be there, right? So
Right.
mentally, I already had this like mindset of I don't want to be here. I'm on this, I'm in this place I don't want to be, right? Even though, like looking back on it, my mindset put me in my own prison, right? Because later, when I really opened up to Brandeis, Brandeis has several religious um, uh, dwellings on the property. The campus has many options. I mean, it's a very liberal campus. It's like it's a liberal education. I mean, there's a lot of things, right? But I didn't arrive there with an open mind, right? And so my first semester, I was valedictorian of a class of 3,000. I was top of my class of a class of 3,000. My first semester, I got all D's.
Oh shit.
Right.
Yeah.
A full scholarship. The dean pulled me in. He said, hey, you're about to lose this scholarship. My whole life got flipped upside down, right? Like everything I knew, everything I was like flying out the window. I had the worst basketball experience I had ever had. I couldn't make a shot. I couldn't pay somebody to make a shot. Like I was being benched because my coach was like, your attitude sucked. Like it was just, and this was D3, right? Like I was programmed to go to D1. I was being benched. She wasn't starting me. Like it was this all the things that could make your life, you rethink everything, right? And I just remember this dean, he brought me in, Dean Anthony, and never forget it. He brought me in and he looked me dead in my face and he said, you will be kicked out of this school. And this is nobody's fault but your own. You have one semester to fix it. And I said, what do I do? He said, this is on you. There's nobody here to fix it but you. He said, there's places you can go to get tutors, there's places you can go to get counseling, there's places you can go to do all things. I can give you all the numbers. But if you don't go do that, you will be kicked out of this school. Period.
Wow.
And so I had to go to my room and figure it out. And it was the first time that I was like, who am I and what do I want to do?
Crazy. And you said
And
your
I feel like
mindset was the thing that was
my
basically
mindset
imprisoning
wasn't my
you.
problem. Oh, 1000%.
Yeah.
I was just being a jerk for no reason.
Do
The
you,
campus is beautiful.
yeah.
Beautiful school. They wanted me there. Like it was all the things. It was me.
Are you a believer in emotions? When it comes to emotions, we choose to be
Oh,
happy. We choose.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep. And I was choosing, I was I was protesting my mother's decision,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to prove her wrong. Where in the reality is, when I graduated from Brandeis, Brandeis was the best professional decision she could have ever made for me, ever.
Yeah.
I mean, my on my resume, it's the best academic thing on my resume. Absolutely, hands down,
Mama knew best.
1000%.
Do you find though swallowing that pill, you were sort of rebelling against mom's decision, swallowing that pill. We have to do that a lot in life, and it is not fun. It hurts. It hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I had this one professor that first semester who, so my high school, we had a college curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
So we did college level theory, right? So my theory class was easy to me. So I never went. I went for the like the test, right? And this professor, she knew it. She knew what school I came from, and she knew I was like basically being arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
And she gave me this test, and I passed it. I knew I passed it with flying colors, right? But she gave me an F. And I went to her office and I said, "How can I get an F? This is all correct, right?" And she said, "Because you never come to class." And I said, "Well, but the test is correct." And she looked me in my face and she says, "I don't care if everything on that test is correct. In order to pass my class, you have to come to class."
Dang.
And I just walked out. I was so angry, right? Uh, and she said, and in fact, and if you want to pass this class, you have to come to my office hours. And I'm thinking to myself, who does she think she is, right? Right? But looking back on it,
Mm.
my senior year, I picked her to be my senior project advisor
Oh,
because she, when I went through the course of all my music classes, I realized she was the first person to not just let me do it. She leaned into me, right? And she made it harder for me. She was like, I see what you're trying to do. I'm gonna lean into you and make sure you figure this out. And so I chose her. She never made it easy for me, ever. And in the end, I realized that's the people that you want by your side.
yeah.
Because those are the people that will make sure that you get it right. And when I chose her, she was shocked. She was like, "Why would you pick me? I always make it so hard for you." And I said, "Because you're the one person here that has made sure that I get it right.
Hmm.
And I want to make sure I get this right. My
Wow.
senior project's going to be absolutely right." And she's like, "All right, let's get it."
Man, you had some adults on your side.
Oh, 1000%.
Yeah.
Once I figured it out.
Well, they probably saw that. They probably saw, hey, Libra's figuring it out. Now
Yeah.
we can be Team Libra, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Initially, I'm sure they were like, "Why did we get this girl this scholarship?"
Where's that scholarship committee?
Right, exactly. This is the wrong girl.
Well, obviously they had the right girl. You graduated.
Yeah, I did. I did very well in the end. But initially, when you start out with those, and I tell my daughters this now, it's like an ice block, right? If you start out with a big ice block, it's really easy to chip it down to something beautiful. You can sculpt it into something beautiful. But if you let that ice block melt down,
Mhm.
you can't sculpt it back up, right? So I started out with D's. So I let the ice block melt down.
Right.
So in the end, even though I ended out really good, I did the best I could to build it back up, but I didn't end as best as I could have if I started out stronger.
And that's such a valuable lesson, especially when you're going into college, because it's so easy to just let the ice melt.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a real easy thing to do.
Hmm.
So you graduate. I know you moved to Hawaii at some point. What happened after graduation?
I went overseas, played ball,
Oh, okay.
hmm played for 4 years.
Oh, wow. With like a specials team or like,
This country,
okay.
Italy. That was fun.
I bet. I bet that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was reckless but responsible. Um,
That's good. Reckless, but responsible.
yeah. Uh, and then I came back. I lived in Vermont for a while. Um, and then I owned a gym in California for a little while.
Hmm.
Because I thought fitness was my life. Because, when you're a professional athlete or when you're an athlete for a while, you think fitness is everything.
Right.
And then I had a woman die in the gym. Um, and I realized for the first time that fitness is not about being an athlete, that people come for other things, that wellness is bigger. And wellness changed for me that day. Uh, and then I left the fitness industry. And
Wow.
that's when my volunteering it. I started to volunteer to try to figure out what I wanted because then I just physical world changed for me. Like focusing in on just the body became really different for me. Um, this was a much older woman, right? And so she was very happy. She was doing exactly what she wanted, right? But she came to the gym every single day to be well. And I just never considered that people could pass away in a gym because I was an athlete, right? So I was a part of the 5%. Like, right, we go to gym to become 2 seconds faster, right? Like that was my mindset, right? This woman came to the gym to make sure that she can keep her blood pressure under control. And I had never considered those things ever. And I thought that I had done a disservice to the community that I was serving and that I needed to reevaluate things. So I started to volunteer. I got married, I had kids. And then the war broke out, right? And I was married to a Marine. And we moved to Hawaii because that's where a lot of the wing units were. And when I was in Hawaii and there's a war going on and you got these spouses that are kind of like deploying all the time,
Right.
there's a lot of things you learn about like so first let me say this. My grandfather was an army vet and he always said to me, you should never marry anyone in the military. So fast forward, he's passed away at this point and I'm married to somebody military friend. So every day that my military spouse is deployed, I would think about my grandfather like, oh, my bad. Like, I think I
Yeah.
know why you told me this now, but okay, I'm here.
Yeah. Oh man, my
Um,
bad.
right. But while my spouse was deployed, there was a lot going on with kids, right, and families, and the Marine Corps is like one of those things where there's only like 1% women in the Marine Corps, so most of the spouses were women, and most of the spouses that were women were home with the children, and so most of us were dealing with schooling stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and so there was a lot of stuff happening with schooling stuff that was troubling to me. And so I was volunteering in the schools a lot because again, I was trying to reevaluate my life. Like, I don't know what I'm doing in my life because I don't want to do fitness stuff anymore. I was teaching aerobics. That was like my thing, but I wasn't really doing a lot of stuff. And so I realized that it was an opportunity to create a new type of school for these military kids because military kids, they attend 5 times more schools than the average kid
Yeah.
because they move so much. And because of that, a lot of them have a lot of troubles in school and academically struggle. So I had this concept that if we could give them scholarships to go to like a online private school as they move and stay in that school for the full year,
Mm.
then they wouldn't have to have a residency because that's the problem. They don't have a residency when they move and then they can't go to public school because they don't have residency, whatever. So if they have this like online private school, they can just stay as they move and then once they land in a residency, they can just pick a school and not have to move around. So we did that. We started a nonprofit, did that for a while. And then we started this whole like our own online school
Hmm.
locally in Hawaii. And then that online school became a thing where people wanted to meet up because we were in Hawaii and they're like, hey, can we just meet up?
Yeah.
We'll meet up on like Thursdays, and they were like, "Hey, can we meet up another day?" And then meet up on like Tuesday, Thursday, and then they were like, "Hey, can we find like a real teacher?" And we're like, "Sure." We found like a science teacher, and then finally, I was like, "Hey, why don't we just start a school?" And then we did.
Wow.
We started a hybrid school, and now it's the largest hybrid school in Hawaii.
No way. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That is amazing.
Yep. And so that's when I found my voice again in terms of what I wanted to do. So that volunteer kind of opportunity turned into me advocating to Congress in Hawaii for a hybrid school, which at that time no one knew what that was. So that was pre-COVID, pre-everything, right? Hybrids is really popular in Europe, but in America no one heard of it. But it was wartime. Kids were like on the phone with their parents 3 a.m. Who's going to school, right? So it made sense.
Yeah.
But then we also were finding out local families were too far away from schools, after fourth grade dropping out. Medically fragile kids weren't going to school. It was just a whole bunch of other kids that needed it too. And so we were like, hey, let us do this as a public school. Let's just do it.
Right.
Let's go across several islands. And so they finally said yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Now it's still going. It's a K through 12 school. It goes across 5 islands now.
That feels good, huh?
It feels amazing. It's one of my proudest moments in Hawaii.
Yeah. How long were
Yeah.
you there in Hawaii?
12 years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why I thought it was a shorter stint than that.
Oh, no, no, no. Two of my kids were born there.
Your kids are stunning, by the way. They're on your website. They're stunning.
Yeah.
I can all it's funny, there's one shot, it's the daughter sitting, if I'm looking at the photo, it's
Look at my legs.
yeah, no, the on the other side,
Oh,
the
yeah.
length of your fingers and her fingers are
Oh,
this they're like the same. You guys have these insanely long,
long fingers.
elegant fingers.
Yeah, she's a violinist too.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I bet
It,
she handles that like a boss too with
oh,
those long
absolutely.
fingers.
It helps.
Yeah. Yeah. That's incredible. Um and why leave Hawaii?
I got divorced.
Mhm.
And my oldest needed a better academic situation. So all my kids went to my school that I founded, and then but you can't graduate kids immediately when you find a school, public school. So my oldest was like at the top of the grade that I when we started it.
Mm.
So I sent her to a local school, but academically she was excellent. And I really wanted her to go to like her top college choice. And Hawaii is one of those schools that it's one of those places that so far recruiting is really tough for those kids out there. So I started to do the math in terms of just getting her to see schools on the mainland, me being divorced, like being able to afford to get her to all her school choices in terms of touring it. And I just knew I couldn't afford to do it all.
Yeah.
So I decided to come to Oregon, which was the closest environmentally to what they were used to.
Mm.
Um, and so that's why we came to Oregon.
As you're pushing academics in Hawaii and with your children, are you hearing your mom in your head?
1000%.
Yeah.
1000%. And balance,
Nice.
like them being physical, being academic, and also musical or doing something movement
Mm.
wise, like being very balanced in their life. Like, yeah, it's totally my mom.
I feel like a lot of parents miss that, the balance part. It's all baseball, all volleyball, all academics. There is no balance, and that's a shame.
It's it's a tragedy, right? Because one thing that you like, I even for myself, and I've seen it in my friends, the basketball stops dribbling, and you mentally have a breakdown.
Mm.
And none of us want to see that in our friends. We definitely don't want to see it in our children, right? So you have to have another passion. You have to have a backup, right? And not even a backup. You have to have something that's parallel to what you are doing that brings you just as much joy, that brings you just as much happiness, that brings you just as much like endorphins, like that does the same thing to your body as like whatever that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have that, whenever that stops, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
whoa. I mean, the things that I've watched some of my friends when they lose those things, whoa, it's hard to watch.
It's I see it in my friends' children when they graduate college and some go maybe play professional or not, and then that stops, and it is not a good place.
No, or even picking a college, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
my youngest is a very good basketball player, right? She is gifted and she's on a traveling team. I mean, it's all the things, right? But she also loves Formula One racing.
Love that.
She wants to create her own engine. She's in automotive in high school. She is like on a mission to be the first woman to design a performance engine on a mission. She can tell you
Yes.
anything about that entire, I don't know one thing about what she's talking about. Like, I'm like, okay. And I love it for her though. You know what I mean? Like it's her thing to the point where when basketball coaches are calling her, and this is the balance part, she's not um they're not calling her and anything they say, she's like, yeah, 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 yeah. She's like, do you have an automotive engineering program? And if
Good.
they're like, nope, she's like, thanks for calling.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Good for her. Yeah, good for her. That's amazing. Hawaii was when you got into Toastmasters, right?
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
love this story. Why? Because I know what Toastmasters is. In fact, being a TV news person, we would encourage the young reporters who had trouble ad libbing for a live shot, go to Toastmasters because you have
Yeah.
to ad lib, right? Ish.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me how did you get started in Toastmasters?
Yeah. So it was by accident, totally by accident. I was looking for, so my marriage turned out to be abusive, which anyone can look up statistically when you are married to someone that is going to war. There are some challenges that come
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
Some do really well with it, many do not. So I was looking for spaces to find my voice, and I walked into this place in City Hall in Kapolei, Hawaii, and it was like the City Hall Toastmasters. I did not know what Toastmasters was, and so I walked in thinking it was like I don't even know what I thought it was. So it was a group of people, and they were talking, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool," and I just sat down, and they were like, people were getting up and answering questions. And I thought it was really intriguing. And so then I asked them if I could come back, and I did. And when I came back, I started answering questions. And I answered them in a way that they liked. And this guy there, his name was Owen, he told me to come back and answer questions in a certain way. And I just kept following Owen. And every time I would follow his directions, I winded up winning something. And it winded up where I was winning an actual contest. Um, so long story short, I was winning like the club contest, the speech contest, and then I won the like district speech contest, and then I won like the regional district contest, and then I wound up winning the Hawaii State speech international speech contest, and then they sent me to Malaysia.
Right.
So I had no idea what I was doing. Owen was became my mentor. He was actually a city um, lawyer, and he was a part of that club. And he, I guess, saw something in me and was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna latch on to her because it you benefit when your club gets winners." And I learned that later, right? So he saw, I guess, a winner in me. He was like, "Hey, we got one. Let's go." Like, so he helped me become a member. Then he just helped me get through the whole process. And I had no idea that I was in an actual cycle of the international speech competition.
Wow.
And so I blindly went through it and I won. And then the funny part is, which I didn't say at Women in Wine, I moved to Oregon the year after I won the Hawaii international speech competition. And then I joined, of course, when I came to Oregon. And then that next year, I won in Oregon for the Oregon State. So I'm the only person in Toastmasters to win for two different states consecutively, because I moved.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And then I went to Vegas that next year and competed again on the international speech contest again. So yeah, it's been fun.
What was it about the way you were answering questions that made you stand out over everybody else?
Well, my personal answer is I just think that I didn't know. So I was really genuinely answering. It was not programmed for me, which is why I think I was reaching people. I For others, I don't know what the answer is. Um, I mean, I followed his directions, right? So he was very clear to me in terms of full sentences, try to say as little ums as possible, like all the typical Toastmaster things. So I listened to his directions. But in terms of my authenticity, I didn't have a lot of programming, so I was very authentic. So I think that was probably how I was winning because I was very new to Toastmasters and I was genuinely showing up authentic.
That was the exact word I was thinking in my head. I was like, well, it was probably your authenticity, because there are a lot of people we program. If we're good at something like that, we have a canned, programmed answer, and
Yes.
you didn't.
No. And that became my style.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I didn't have anyone changing my style, which I can always credit Owen for that. Because Owen never changed that in me. He always told me the rules. You have 5 to 7 minutes, limit your limit filler words, right? But he never said change your style. He would say, do that again, but never change your style.
What year did you go to Malaysia? What year?
2014,
2014. And
after the plane incident.
oh, that's right.
Because my family was like, you're going where? And I was like, it's like Malaysia. They was like, we just lost the plane.
One sec. Hold up. Hold the phone. What was that like? How many people were there?
Oh, like, so the international speech contest starts with 38,000. And then when you get to that, yeah, when you get to that competition level, it's down to the last 1,200. And then the final stage is down to the last, I think it's like 250.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah.
And you made it to the final, right?
hmm
Yeah.
hmm Yeah. It was, and there's probably 40,000 people that go there.
Wow.
It's quite the stage. It's massive.
You talked about this at the Women in Wine conference, and it was such a beautiful part of the entire keynote, because we were all anticipating that you were going to say you went there and you won it all,
Yeah, no.
Queen Bee. But that didn't actually happen, right?
No, I did not win. I did not win in 2014, and I did not win in 2015 either. I went 2 years in a row. I did not win. Um, and like I tell my children, I either win or I learn. The first year, 2014, when I didn't win, I learned. And the statement I said earlier, may my words land on someone that changes their life. Um, I I changed my speech when I walked up on the stage. And my speech, first of all, Malaysia has culturally women are not exposed. They're all the women in that audience that were all the local women in the audience were only exposed in their eyes. That's all I could see. And so I changed my speech and I told my abuse story. And when I told that story, it was definitely a risk because I was in a country where a story like that is not ever going to be told out loud.
Right.
Um, but I felt it was necessary. I felt it was right for me. Um, and I didn't win. I'm sure that culturally that was partly why I didn't win. But when I walked off the stage, I had just I mean, the amount of women that were surrounding me and their garb was soaking wet with tears, telling me that they were just profoundly just thankful that they heard the words that I said and the story that I shared and how I shared it. That was a win for me. I didn't need anything else. Like I felt like that's why I came here,
Yeah.
and it was okay. I didn't need the trophy and I didn't need all the other stuff. That was enough for me.
I was
It
going to say
also
you did win.
validated myself. Yeah, absolutely. It validated myself and the work that I was working on in myself. It validated all those things in me. And in the club that I represented, which was Owen's club, um, they were really proud of me. They didn't want me to do that speech initially. They were like, "No, don't do it, don't do it." Because I think they thought I could really win. Like I said, clubs get a lot of benefit when you have a winning speaker. But when I came back, they were so proud of me. So it didn't matter.
Hmm.
Hawaii is so good at pride. Like they're
Yeah.
so good at it.
Yeah.
Like my send off was amazing. Like it was just amazing. Like it was a send off. And then when I came home, even with me not having the trophy, it was just like I won. Like it
Hmm.
was thousands of people, signs, the cheering. It was just, I won.
Yeah. Yeah. There was another gal at the conference. She specifically mentioned that phrase, you don't lose, you learn.
Hmm.
Um, she lost her job a couple days after the conference.
Wow.
And she had taken all these notes. She told me the story, taken all these notes during the conference. And it wasn't until she lost her job that she went back. And there were key phrases from you and other speakers. And one that was sticking out to her was, you don't lose, you learn. And she said, I could be really angry that I lost my job and feel like a loser. But
Mm.
she took that and she's also started her own new business.
I love that.
Isn't that incredible?
I love that. Yeah, I mean, I think there's nothing easy in life, but yet all my hardest things in life have been my best moments
Mm,
because it's been the moments that I've had to be the most creative, I've developed the most. Um, I've found out the best things about myself. I've gotten rid of the things that I don't like. Um, Yeah, I wouldn't change any of the hardest moments that I've had ever.
right.
I tell people I can remember to this day having $88 in my bank account. And and I may get emotional because it's still a thing for me. I had to feed my kids. Um, and I went to the dollar store and I could get 88 things. But I got the best 88 things I could get. I was so proud of myself because I could do that. And all I reminded myself of it wasn't that I only had 88 things, it was that I could get 88 things and that it was going to be the best 88 things I could get. And my kids were so happy. They didn't know that it was only 88 things. And now, like, I look back on those moments, like, we don't live like that now, but it was those moments of me being so disciplined and
Mhm.
being proud of those 88 things and being proud of, like, I would come home, I would touch the walls. I mean, I've been homeless with my kids after my divorce, and now that I can get them what they want, like, it's because of those 88 things that I didn't complain. I was always proud and I leaned into it and I didn't forget that it's just a moment. And the one thing that I've always remembered, my mom always said this. She's like, we're not rich in money, but we're rich in love, and not everybody has that. And that's what I always told my kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And anyone that comes in my house now, and even when we had little, my house feels rich in love.
Mm-hmm.
Always. It will always feel that way, whether I have a big bank account or a small one. That is always my main goal. And that is what people should lean into, no matter what your situation is. That is all that matters. You can't take your bank account with you when time is up.
Nope.
But the thing that everyone will remember from you is how you love them
Mm-hmm.
and how kind or how evil you were. That's what they will remember. That is the key.
So true. So true. Yeah. I don't want to be yacht rich, but I do want to be being able to take a walk rich and good food rich
Yeah.
and, you know, with my family rich. So, I love that. And I do remember those days of walking through the grocery store with a calculator.
Yeah. Yeah. Not fun, but it definitely teaches you
It does.
how to recognize the other moments, right?
Hmm.
Like
And what a
the
lesson that is for your children,
oh,
right?
1000%. Yeah. I mean, we go into the dollar store now and they constantly are like, Mom, remember when these were the cookies we could only get? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
now they're like, actually, we get like the expensive cookies, and they're like, can we get the oatmeal cookies with the frosting on it? Right. And I'm like,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's days I wouldn't give for some boxed Kraft macaroni and cheese. I tell you.
Yep.
Yeah. My neighbor, Miss Dolly, she used to watch us when my mom would go to work, and I mean, it was boxed mac and cheese like almost every day.
Yeah. I
Mm.
mean, whatever works. I just think we all need to remember the basics because the basics are what, I mean, that's the stuff that fuels you, right? And that's the
Yeah.
stuff that actually holds you upright. The rest of this stuff is like, it's cool.
It's stuff. It's just
Yeah,
stuff.
it's just stuff.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like I just watched this video of this guy that cleans up after hoarders when they pass away.
Yeah.
And he throws it in a dumpster. He throws it in a dumpster. I mean, what's the point?
Exactly. Thank you for sharing that. That was
Yeah,
incredibly touching. When did you
yeah.
start with Women's Foundation of Oregon?
2022. I didn't know what it was when I first started. And now I'm like all in, like,
Yeah.
what? This is like a thing. It's been around since 1887.
I know. Insane. I didn't know what it is. I didn't know what it was either, and I had to like look it up. Yeah. Crazy.
Crazy. It just goes to show you that, women been making moves for so long.
Especially, I mean, in Oregon, I'm always like, people are like, "Oh, you're from Oregon. You guys were the first two." And I'm like, "Just fill in the blank. We were the
Yeah.
first." Yep, that's
Forward
us.
has- I know. My girlfriend, actually, today I was watching her. She's making like her and her husband are always doing crazy, just making moves in life. And she was using Bob's Red Mill
Bob.
scramble.
Yeah.
And I was like, fun fact, because she's kind of like, she's a verified person online, right? And I'm like, fun fact, followers, this is in Oregon.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Good
I
stuff.
think when he passed, he sold the company back
It was,
to.
I put that in my little thing to
Ah.
his entire employment.
Yeah,
Good people. And he's done incredible things for the community.
he has. He really has. I do want to wrap up because I've eaten up so much of your time. But you said you're a cooker.
I am a big time cooker.
So okay, same. We're same right over here, Libra. What do you
Yeah.
do? You cook every meal?
I cook every meal,
Mm-hmm.
even when we travel. That's why I like to drive places.
Yeah, we're the same. We get a. I don't want to stay in a hotel. I want to stay in a house with a kitchen, a nice kitchen.
Me too. I just said this to the little team chat. The families were like, "What hotel you staying?" I'm like, "I'm staying in an Airbnb because I want a kitchen."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Okay." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm no this. I don't know."
What's your specialty? What do your girls love?
Ah. Um, I don't know. You have to ask them. I think they probably really like my breakfast stuff.
Mm,
Um, I just like to cook. And it comes from my grandmother. My grandmother was a big cook. My grandfather cooked too, mostly barbecue. He was a barbecue person, but my grandfather was a more Caribbean style, and my grandmother was more Southern. So I had both sides of the world. I know. So
the best.
so I make homemade so my range is like homemade Caribbean food. So I'll make homemade beef patties like from scratch from like the actual flaky crust. Like
Mm,
my girls know how to roll the crust from beginning to finish to let's see. I don't know, like smoking briskets
right.
from 12-hour smoke to 6-hour rest, We
Brilliant. And briskets are little boogers to smoke. Good grief.
I know I'm a little nervous, but we're
It,
gonna make it work. I'm also doing ribs too, so I'm like, worst case scenario,
right.
we got ribs and we got like some chicken. So worst case
Yeah.
scenario, we've got that protein going. And then there's a parent that's bringing some hot dogs and burgers, but we'll be fine.
Oh, you know that brisket's going to go first.
That's if it all works out.
It's going to get gobbled up first. We used to, well, we still do. My family still does. I'm from South Carolina. We would barbecue half a hog like every Thanksgiving during the holidays. Oh yeah. And my grandpa and
Right.
uncle were their pulled pork just was famous in this little community. So they would also smoke a shoulder for this person or,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I just did a shoulder a couple days ago. I'm big on a smoker because I have the upright. It's like it's easy,
Yeah.
and I can just leave it. It's a couple days. Excuse
Yeah.
me, and I'm done.
Yeah.
But this is a little much. Like what I'm doing right now is this is a commitment. So
We would
sleeping well this
right.
weekend.
No, you won't. Not at all. They would bring in this half of a hog and set it on some
Uh,
counter, cover it with towels to keep everything,
right,
moist. And
right.
then dinner was grandma's coleslaw or my mom would make coleslaw, white rice and white bread. That was it. That was it. And the and the
The
and the
hog
pig.
is the main course.
Right. But I never understood that. I was like, what else are we having? And then my papa would be like, what else do you need? And I'm like, well, I
The
just don't,
hog.
I don't want this.
Now I'm big. Like I'm making mac and cheese, candy yams, broccoli. I've got collard greens are on our right now, and then this parent's like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna bring some a veggie tray and a fruit tray." I was like, "That's fine."
Yeah, you do you. I'm bringing the collards. I'm bringing those collard greens, sis. Thanks. um, all right, I have to wrap up and get to the final three. Although I feel like you and I could definitely talk food for a very long time.
100%,
I could be like,
yeah.
well, what do you do? What kind of seasoning do you put on there? You said on your website, it says life has been a journey I am proud of. And I wrote this down. Journey is the most perfect word for you because it feels like holy bananas. You have had a journey. Your life has been 100% a journey.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. It's kind of scary sometimes because I feel like it's been such a journey. Does that mean that it's uh like is it closing or is it like ramping up to something crazy?
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, it has been a journey. But I also think that I'm not a small person, so I think maybe I was built for that. My grandfather always had a great statement for me. He's like, Libra, clearly you were at the end of the line when God was giving out things. You got the leftovers of all things, so you must be carrying a lot. Like,
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh, that's so special. What a
and,
special sentiment from Grandpa. I love that. Um, Before we get to the final three, I do have one more question for you. And I want to paint a picture for the listeners. You walk into this conference, you are 6'5",
yep.
stunning. May I add stunning?
Thank
And
you.
on this particular day, your hair was
I straight
straight.
it,
You were
yeah.
wearing this gorgeous coat.
Oh yeah.
Someone goes, she had to have that made. That had to have been custom made coat.
That's for Ross.
I go, no way.
It's cut the arms off.
Well, you had everyone believing some fashion designer had built this coat for you, Libra.
No.
Oh my God, I love that you just said it was from Ross. God, that was hysterical. So you're on stage, and we're like a bunch of kindergartners in the audience, just like watching your every move. And you're calmly, gracefully, confidently walking across the stage, telling us the story of you, unleashing some of these incredibly beautiful nuggets of wisdom. And I'm in the audience looking at you and watching you and going, does anything intimidate this person?
Hmm. 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 Um. Um. Intimidate? No. Um. I probably should ground this question in understanding that I am a practicing Buddhist. And so, in being a Buddhist, the moment is the only thing that we worry about. And
Mm,
so, in this moment, um, I'm here, and so I can't be intimidated. Um, so no, and I know that I'm being taken care of by a higher power, so I'm not intimidated. No.
that just gave me goosebumps. One of my favorite Christmas presents of all time was an iPod Touch. I don't know if you remember those.
Yes, I do.
On the back of it, my husband had no stress in the moment
Mm,
inscribed. And
hmm.
I believe in that so much, no stress in the moment, because if you're living in the moment, if you're here right now, there is nothing, right? There's just only gratitude.
Yeah. Like I had to think about the question and because I didn't want to sound arrogant, right? And that's why I answered it with clarity because like a practicing Buddhist, worrying means you're not here, right? So no.
I love that. I basically think we're best friends now. That's all. I'm just going to put it out
We
there.
absolutely are.
Okay, Libra Ford, I'm going to wrap up and get to the final three. But
Thank
I just want
you.
to say you are just so incredibly amazing and inspiring. You're beautiful on the inside and the outside. And
Thank
I
you.
am so thankful that we got you at the conference this year because, lady, you made me look so good.
Oh.
Everyone's like, Trish, good job. And I was like, oh, yeah, thanks. Thanks. I had nothing to do with that. Thank you. Okay.
You guys did a great job. It was a great venue
Yeah,
too.
it was beautiful.
Oh.
Beautiful venue. Thanks. Props to the Allison. Best advice you've ever been given.
Oh man. Everyone serves as an example, even if it was a bad one.
Did anybody give you that?
Yeah.
Who gave you that?
My ex-husband.
Okay, wait, repeat it.
Everyone serves as an example, even if it's a bad one.
Wow. The ex husband gave you that.
Best advice ever.
I'm just going to let that sit for a second.
Yep.
What's your happy place?
Oh. I have two. One is anywhere with lavender. And then my second one is evening time with my girls, like just doing nothing.
Perfect. And then in all things food and drink, and I know you're not a drinker. All things food. What do you crave? What always sounds good to you?
Oh my God, anything chocolate. Anything. Anything chocolate.
Beautiful.
Hmm.
Thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you
Thank you for
for
having me.
sharing your brain and sharing your heart, and opening up, with all the things. I really appreciate you just being here and being very vulnerable.
Yeah, this was fun. Thank you for having me, Trish. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again. And don't like think you're gonna get rid of me. Like I'm not.
Oh no, absolutely not. Are you kidding me?
We're connected for life, Libra. You're like, oh shit, really?
No, I'm not with it. I'm always connected to good people. I'm with it.
Same, same. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate all the things you do. And it was such a pleasure to talk to you at the conference. And I just am very grateful that, again, we made this connection.
Absolutely. We'll see you soon.
You've been listening to Hungry for More, an Epicurean's Dilemma with me, Trish Close. You can watch this podcast and subscribe on my YouTube channel. Just search Hungry for More, an Epicurean's Dilemma. You can also listen and subscribe wherever you like to listen to podcasts.